A very good morning, students. This is the second video on the muscles of the arm, and we are discussing the anterior compartment. In the last video, I told you about the coracobrachialis muscle. As you know that there are the three muscles in the anterior compartment of the arm. These diagrams indicate that this is a cross section of the arm. This is the anterior side, medial side, lateral and posterior. In the anterior compartment at this level, which is from the lower half of the arm, there are two muscles, brachialis and the biceps. While in the posterior compartment, this muscle is a single one, the triceps. Okay, you are seeing the basilic vein and the cephalic vein in the superficial fascia also. That I have already told you in the last video. And there are the three muscles, as I said, coracobrachialis, biceps brachii and the brachialis. This we have already done, coracobrachialis. Today we will learn in this video about the biceps brachii. Now the biceps brachii, as the name suggests, biceps. Bi means two. It means this muscle has two seps. Seps means head. So there are two heads, which is called as the short head and the long head of the biceps muscle. We will learn about the origin, insertion, nerve supply and action of the biceps brachii. Since there are two heads, short head and the long head, I will first tell you about the short head of the biceps brachii. If we see the short head of the biceps brachii, this takes origin from the supra-glenoid tubercle. Now this is the scapula, okay, and this is the coracoid process, and this is the glenoid cavity, a very shallow cavity, and the top of this glenoid cavity shows the presence of a rough area called as supra-glenoid tubercle. Okay, and this origin of this short head of the biceps is from this process that is called as the coracoid process, and it is from the tip of the coracoid process in common with that of the coracobrachialis muscle, which we have learned in the last video. So this is a tendinous origin to begin with. Along with the coracobrachialis, this tendon of the this tendon of the short head of the biceps, it takes origin from the tip of the coracoid process, which lies lateral to that of the origin of the coracobrachialis. Now this tendon crosses the shoulder joint in front, and the muscles run from medial, because this is the median plane, this is the humerus on the right side, this is my right humerus, this is the median plane, and we are dealing here with this the right limb here. So this tendon, it runs downwards and laterally, and then soon it becomes flaccid. Okay, so there will be the formation of the flaccid valley here, and this flaccid valley will come in front of the humerus, and then it will lie in front of the humerus here. So this is the short head. Now let us come to the origin of the long head. The long head of the biceps, it is also tendinous in nature, and it takes origin from the supra-glenoid tubercle, as I said that, which is on the top of the glenoid cavity. Now the origin is from the supra-glenoid tubercle, but those students who want to know it in more detail, they should know that this is that picture, the diagram of the glenoid cavity, the shallow glenoid. This is the supraglenoid tubercle, and this is infraglenoid tubercle with the blue color, which is not seen properly. Color, you may not be getting proper color. You will see that this is the glenoidal labrum, the fibrocartilaginous disc. So the origin of the long head is from the supraglenoid tubercle as well as from the glenoidal labrum. Both they give origin to that of the long head of the biceps. So here from supraglenoid tubercle of the scapula, this long head will run laterally. It will go or arch above that of the head of the humerus. This is the head of the humerus, and then it will go into the bicipital groove or inter-tubercular sulcus. And this origin of the long head of the biceps is intra-capsular. Soon it will come out from that of the intra-tubercular sulcus, okay, and then it will also become fleshy, okay. And almost in the middle of the arm, both the heads, that is the short head as well as the long head, they will start fusing, and in the lower half it will form a single belly covering to that of the front of the humerus completely, and then when it will approach towards the elbow joint, then it will become narrow and will form a common tendon, both the hand, and this tendon will cross the elbow joint here, and as soon as it will cross this tendon, elbow joint, then it will from its medial side, because this is median plane, okay, this is the medial border of the scapula, there will be an epineurotic sheath will come out from its medial side, which is called as the bicipital epineurosis. And this bicipital epineurotic sheath, which is nothing but like the deep fascia, will come and will get attached to the undersurface of the deep fascia, which is covering to the muscle, the group of the muscle, that is the flexor muscle in front of the forearm. The remaining tendon will remain tendinous, rounded tendinous, and this will go towards the lateral side, where it will go and gain attachment onto that of the tuberosity or the radial tuberosity. See, this is the head, this is the neck, and this onto the medial side there is a bump, what is called as radial tuberosity, and it will go and get attachment into the posterior half of the radial tuberosity. If I draw this diagram to show you the attachment of the radial tuberosity of this tendon of the biceps, then you will realize that if I cut a section of the radial tuberosity here, see, this is the radial side, I mean to say the lateral side, this is the medial side, and suppose this bump is the radial tuberosity, then its upper half of this radial tuberosity, let me make it more clear, this radial tuberosity upper half is smooth, but its lower half of the radial tuberosity is rough, and it is rough because it gives attachment to the tendon of the biceps. Like this, the tendon will go deep and posteriorly and will gain attachment. So this is that tendon of the bicep. And in the upper half of this, there will be the presence of a bursa. And a bursa is a close-shaped synovial membrane lining to it, and this is for to avoid the friction between the tendon and that of the bone during the movement of the supination. Okay, so these are the two attachment of the biceps, and these are the two attachment of the origin of short head and that of the long head is here. Okay, I hope that you must have understood, and almost in the middle, both the bellies, short and long head bellies, they meet and then they form a common. Let us come to the action of this muscle. The action of this muscle, since this is crossing to many joints, you see, here it is crossing the long head as well as the short head. Both are crossing to that of the humerus, not humerus, shoulder joint. On the entry aspect, the long head is crossing from on the top of the head of the humerus. Then secondly, it is crossing to the elbow joint. And thirdly, it is also crossing to that of the superior radioulnar joint. In this way, the biceps muscle crosses three different joints: shoulder, elbow, and superior radioulnar joint. Okay. Thus, the action will be at each and every joint. At the shoulder joint, here there are two actions. The action of the short head as well as the long head combinedly. Since the muscle, when it will contract, it will pull the lower end towards the medial side, because this is the medial plane and the muscle is going from medial to lateral. So when it will contract, it will try to pull the humerus towards the medial side, as well as, if you will see carefully here in the skeleton, if I try to show you here, this is the coracoid process and this is the head of the humerus, okay, and this crosses from the front. okay, this lies little anterior. So when this muscle contract, it will also pull the humerus forward because it is coming, okay, from forward area. So there will be two action, and one of this action will be by this two head will be that of the flexion of the humerus, which I have told you in the last video of the coracobrachialis muscle also. So along with the coracobrachialis, it is the flexion movement of the bicep. Second movement is that since the long head origin, okay, tendinous origin is crossing or arching above the head of the humerus, it will prevent the upward displacement of the humerus, okay. Whenever there is a displacement of the humerus, since the long head of the tendon of the long head of the biceps of origin is arching, it will not allow the head of the humerus to be displaced forward. Second action, naturally, since it is crossing that of the elbow joint from the front, it is going to produce that of the flexion at the elbow, because it is attached to humerus, and through the bicipital aponeurosis it is attached to the deep fascia in front of the arm. So this is a flexion movement is there. The third movement at the at the radius will be actually on the radius itself, and this movement which is on the radius is because of the rotation of the radius. Suppose this is a pronated position. See this in a mid-flex position or flex position. This is a mid-flex and pronated condition, and here then the tendon is going to the posterior half of the radial tuberosity on the radius deep down, and when muscle will contract, the tendon will be pulling the forcefully the radial tuberosity forward, and because of that the radius will start rotating and the hand will come in the supine position, though even it is flex. Okay, so from the prone position it will be the supine position of hand, and this is a very important action of the this biceps muscle on the radius. Okay, so this is the action at the superior radioulnar joint. This can be also, if I show you here, suppose in a mid-flex position, and this is the position of the pronation. This will be the, if we cut the section, this will be the position here. That means the tendon is in the posterior half of the radial tuberosity and in the pronated position. This is the position of the bone, and when a muscle will contract, it will try to pull this part of the radius and it will rotate it so that this normal position will achieve, which is here is the pronated position. So in this way you can see that how the tendon of the biceps, which is attached onto the radius, will produce the movement of the supination, which is already in a pronated and mostly in a flex position. Let's come to the nerve supply. The nerve supply of the biceps is the same as we have learned coracobrachialis, and it is the musculocutaneous nerve, the root value C5, C6, and probably sometimes C7 also. I hope that this completes the second muscles of the front of the arm, okay, anterior compartment, the biceps brachii. Thank you very much for watching this video. Next video will be on the third muscle.